Macbeth, Act 4, Scene 3, the continuation of Scene 3. So here Malcolm says, Black Macbeth, you think that he's great. In fact, I'm so worse than Macbeth that he'll actually seem like snow. And Macduff is so incredulous, it's kind of like, not in the legions of horrid hell may come a devil more damned than evils to top Macbeth. We get that idea. The legions of hell. He's like a general. In a way, he's one step up from Satan. All right. So we get the idea of the legions of hell. And Macbeth, and so we get Macduff here. And remember, he's kind of incredulous at what he's hearing. A sense of incredulity. Okay. But here, Malcolm is kind of pushing it. He's pushing him. And here he's a little bit, he's playing a role. And here, the only actor, there's only one person who's not really acting, and that's Macduff. Everyone else seems to play a role. And here Malcolm plays his role. He's playing the kind of, the young, the upstart kind of prince who wants to get his hands on power in order to kind of debase it. Yeah.
Something I noticed is the whole thing is obviously.
But then Malcolm says, I grant him bloody, luxurious, avaricious, false, deceitful, sudden, malicious, smacking of every sin that has a name. But there's no bottom, none in my voluptuousness. Okay, and I want you to consider this voluptuousness. In a way, it is someone who seeks pleasure with women or men. Yeah. In a way, he's almost saying like, I'm kind of like a sex addict. All right. Your wives, your daughters, your matrons, your maids could not fill up the cistern of my lust. All right. And my desire, all continent impediments would overbear, that will oppose my will. Better Macbeth than to such a one to reign. So he's testing him. He says, you know what? None of your wives would be safe, your daughters. I'd just take them. I would just have them brought to me and I would do what I wanted with them. All right. Now, Macduff has to reply. So he says, boundless intemperance. And intemperance, that's what it means. Someone who really can't control their temper, their lusts. And it's often used with regards to, drinking alcohol. In a way, it's kind of unruly passions. And that's what he's saying here. Boundless intemperance in nature is a tyranny. It had been the untimely emptying of a happy throne, the fall of many kings, but fear not yet. Take upon you that is yours, which is obviously the kingship. You may convey your pleasures in a spacious plenty, and yet seem cold. The time you may so hoodwink. And so he's saying, why don't you, okay, if you take up the throne, you can still enjoy all the things that you do and still appear to be cold. Cold as in cool temperament, okay, reasonable. You can appear that way. And again, we got that idea of equivocate. What you see is not what you get. Macduff's telling him then, you can do that. And he says, we have willing dames enough. There are women, plenty of women are happy with that arrangement. There cannot be that vulture in you to devour so many as will to greatness dedicate themselves, finding it so inclined. All right, it can't be that bad. I mean, there's so many women that you would be able to kind of, avail yourself of that it would be fine. And then Malcolm ups the ante a little bit. With this there grows in my most ill-composed affection such a staunchless avarice. Were I king, I would cut off the nobles for their lands, desire his jewels, this other's house. And my more having would be as a sauce to make me hungry more. And it's that idea of avariciousness. We've got lust and avariciousness, which are kind of, you know, quite heinous, deadly sins. All right. And that idea, the more I had, the more it would make me. The more you give me, the more I'd want. Should I forge quarrels just against the good and loyal, destroying them for wealth? So what I would do, Macduff, all right, just to make it clear to you, that eventually I'd make a quarrel with you for no reason. I'd just say, oh, you slighted me or you did me wrong, just in order that I can take your castle and all the things that you own and give them to myself. All right. And Macduff says, well, this avarice sticks deeper. It grows with more pernicious root. All right. So in a sense, he's saying that what's happening, what's taking root here is actually a lot worse than your kind of intemperance. Then summer seeming lust. And I like this, summer seeming. And this idea that it's seasonal, it passes. Eventually it will pass. But what you're doing, okay, with regards to your avarice, will not pass. And it hath been the sword of our slain kings. And he's like, yet do not fear. Scotland hath foisons to fill up your will. I know your own. All these are portable with your grades wed. There's plenty of money. We will keep you happy. If you're interested in cash, at least be a noble king. And he says, but I have none. Look at that. I have none. The king becoming gracious as justice. And we look at this: justice, verity, temperance, stableness, bounty, perseverance. And that listing of all the kingly virtues that his father had, he says, I do not have them. I have no relish of them, but abound in the division of several crimes, acting in many ways. Nay, had I power, I should pour the sweet milk of concord into hell, uproot the universal peace, confound all unity on earth. And here he would, again, bring chaos. Rather than stability. But I want you to notice what he says. Verity, justice, stableness, perseverance, mercy, lowliness, devotion, patience. All of these are the kingly virtues. And he wears them because he knows what it means to be a good king. Do you see that? If he wasn't a good king, he wouldn't understand what those principles are. Okay. Malcolm knows what kingship requires because it's bigger than him. Remember, he understands that. Now, there he's still playing his little role. And then we get, oh, Scotland, Scotland. It's not, oh, Macduff, Macduff. Oh, Scotland. And this is what he's looking for. He's looking to break down the reason. He wants to see what's at the heart of the man, where his feelings are. Yeah. You can talk about getting a sword. You can talk about all these things. I need to know how you feel. Get it? He's breaking him down. I want to see where your heart is. If such a one fit to speak, am I spoken? And then he gets it. Look, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, anger. And we get this sense of righteous anger. Look at that. Okay, well, spelt righteous wrong. Righteous anger. Okay. Fit to govern. It's not a question mark. It is an exclamation mark. No, not to live. You don't deserve to live, Malcolm. All right. Oh, nation miserable with an untitled tyrant, bloody sceptered. When shalt thou see the wholesome days again, since the truest issue of thy throne by his own interdiction stands accursed? His own interdiction. It's just going to get worse. By the own words of Malcolm, he is not fit to live, nor even govern. And does blaspheme his breed? Then we get to it. Thy royal father was a most sainted king, the queen that bore thee often upon her knees than on her feet. Died every day she lived. She served you. Her ego, okay, meant nothing. She lived for you herself. She was unselfless, okay? Fare thee well. These evils thou repeatst upon thyself have banished me from Scotland. Oh, my breast, thy hope ends here.